Really good. Like, really, really good. Very dialed in. Hello there guys, and welcome back into yet another one with us, the Review Bros. And my name's Aaron, and today we are all joined here together to talk about the latest release from the guys at Harder Than Last Time Supplements. We do have the new Harder Than Last Time pre-workout by Greg Doucette himself, and the hype behind this has been real. Ever since it's launched, we've been asked on a daily basis multiple times our thoughts and feelings on the label. Have we got it? Have we used it? What do we think? Should we buy it? All of the rest of it. So guess what? We managed to get our hands on it, and we're going to be comparing it to the original one, which was actually only out a few months before they decided to revamp it into this version 2. We're not a paid channel here. We're going to keep it 100% honest, guys, as we move through the usuals, which will be the taste, the price, the label, and primarily its effects in the real world. Should it be something to pick up? Will it be the next supplement you choose? Let's get into this hyped one. It had to fly to the front of the queue. So guys, we're into that first segment, the taste and the mixability, and a lot of people argue it's the least important, but do you know what? With products like this, premium products in the market, and with how much choice there is, this being a very small portion of what's out there, of course, flavour does mean something when you're spending that hard-earned cash on your products. This new version comes in 2 different strains. So you get non-beta-alanine for the non-itching version, and you get the beta-alanine one with the itches, which we personally like, and that's the one we do have today. And it comes in 2 different flavours. It comes in grape candy, but the one we have for today's review is the dragon berry, which, to be very honest with you, I probably would have chosen that. Now, there's a lot more versatility in the scooping on this product. It comes in 3 scoops, guys, so it's more than the one before. The one before was 1 or 2 scoops. This one is 1, 2 or 3 scoops. That being said, the scoop size is smaller, and with the beta-alanine one, each one weighs 9.4 grams. Now, most of us out there will still do 3 scoops, I believe, personally. Some might do 2, but for the sake of this review, I'm going to be reviewing it on its full dosage, which is what we do with every single pre-workout out there. So I'm going to be doing 3 scoops, guys. And it does only give you 300 milligrams of caffeine, so it's not too much caffeine to handle. So do bear that in mind. So there goes 2, and here comes scoop numero 3. And I will say it does smell nice in the air, it really does. Hoping for good things. I mean, let's be honest, Greg Doucette, he must earn an absolute fortune off of YouTube, all his supplements and that. So surely he's put a lot of money into the designs of the labelling, marketing, flavouring, effects, everything. So let's just hope for the very best here. So we've got the Dragonberry. Let's hope it's a good one. Give it a fair one. So we are looking at mixability to be pretty good. It's not the best shaker to see through, and even harder to see on the camera, I imagine. But it's actually not too shabby. There's a bit on the bottom. I imagine some of those pumpy ingredients. Oh, it's got a pop to it as well. So here we go. Dragonberry going down the hatch. I'm hoping for goodies. Nice. Nice. Like different to how I expected. It's it's definitely very sweet. That is the first thing that hits you. Definitely sweet. Now, that's a good thing for myself. What comes in at the back end, almost, I want to say a bit of tartness, maybe a little bit of sour kick, maybe a little bit of bitterness, but nothing bad at all, guys. And actually, comparing it to the V1, the cotton candy, the pink candy blast, sorry, I prefer it. I prefer this new one. I would be happy to, honestly, out of 10, give that a 9.5. because the mixability is very good as well, and it does taste good. So no complaints there. We are into the pricing element of the product, guys. As I mentioned, premium, stacked, you know, hyped, all the rest of it. It's going to come out quite expensive. That's the God's honest truth right now. We always compare it to the maximal dosage, guys. So we're only going to be getting 20 servings out of the container if you do 3 scoops each and every time, which I think a lot of people will be doing that. That's the honest truth there as well. Some might do 2, and very, very few of you will be doing just 1 scoop. Let's be honest with ourselves here. So I'm going to chuck up a little graph to show you the different pricing elements to this, because there's a lot of versatility here, a lot of flexibility with your dosaging, and obviously comparing it here over in the UK to American prices. But I can tell you, on the maximal dosage for UK guys, £1.96 per the go. It's an expensive product, and when we put it on our consistent pricing scale, which compares absolutely every pre-workout across the world, everything we've seen, we've driven up a goal, and an average price of that would be a 5 out of 10, guys. So this one comes out on that maximum serving at a 2.5 out of 10. So it's definitely priced more than an average product. But a lot of you would say it is more than an average product. One of those scenarios, you pay for a car, you pay for a normal car, average price, fine. You pay for a Lamborghini, okay, it does the same thing essentially, but you're going to be paying more because it's going to give you more performance. And we say the same thing with pre-workouts. So you've got to use your discretion, but just know it is more than an average pre-workout price. So let's get into the label. What is it packing for that money? We are into the label of this new pre-workout by Greg Doucette. It's the pre-workout 2.0, which has come along forth from the first version, which actually wasn't out for that long until they decided to reformulate with this potent version, I would say. So as I mentioned, you can do 1, 2 or 3 scoops. The one we have here is the beta-alanine edition. You can actually purchase this same product without beta-alanine. So do bear that in mind. We personally do like beta-alanine. And I know it's quite a split out there. Some do, some don't. It's up to you. At least you do get the choice with this one. So as I mentioned, with the beta-alanine, 1 scoop is 9.4 grams, 2 being 18.8, and 3 scoops, which is the dosage I'm going to be referring to with the dosages here, does come in at 28.2, and you get 20 servings for that amount. So we start off with L-citrulline at a whopping 9 grams, guys. That is a big, big dosage. The highest we've seen, I think, is 10 or 11 grams, guys, and that is almost overkill. It's a pump amino acid, guys. It helps boost nitric oxide levels up in the bloodstream, helping with nutrient delivery, blood flow, vascularity, and obviously the pumps in the gym. That's what we're here for with that ingredient. We then have beta-alanine, and again, as I mentioned, you might choose the version without this, but if you do have it in there, it comes in at a massive 4.5 grams. Now, the clinical dosage starts at 3.2 grams, so we're actually getting a fair amount extra, guys. It gives that itchy feeling, that tingly paresthesia type feel, and once you've built it up in the system for a long enough period of time, enough days in a row, it will help you with endurance in the gym. So more reps on the bench press. We have betaine and hydrous at 3 grams. Betaine is a jack of all trade ingredient, guys. It helps with hydration, endurance, a bit of everything, a bit of pump. It has even been shown to have some nootropic and focus benefits to it. So we'll take that. And we normally only see that at about 2.5 grams. So we're getting a little bit extra here. We have the malic acid, which is the part that's going to be bonded with the citrulline there, just to help with the digestibility of that ingredient. And it also helps with a flavouring standpoint as a little side note. Now, L-taurine, we're getting a big dose of 1,500 milligrams. Now, that is to help balance electrolytes. It's also to give the body a chance to develop a natural energy, but it's mostly here for its ability to hydrate the body, hyperhydration of cells, which is what we like to see. We've got nitrosogene at the trademarked amount, the clinical amount, should I say, of the 1.5 grams. Now, it's very similar to citrulline in that it builds up nitric oxide within the blood. So therefore, it helps with vascularity, vasodilation, widening the blood vessels to allow nutrients and blood to flow to the muscle cell, thus giving you more pump. We do like to see it. We don't often see it. We have L-tyrosine at 1.2 grams, which is the amino acid responsible for cognition and clarity benefits. It gets you in the zone, gets you focused out on your training sessions. And the same can be said of the next ingredient, alpha-GPC, yielding 50% at 600 milligrams, which is a good dose. It's your choline type. It's there to liven up the brain, guys. Give you that spark, give you that fire, give you that tunnel vision. We like it. And then we have the caffeine anhydrous at 300 milligrams. Nice daily amount, guys. Not too much. 3 cups worth of coffee. A strong energy drink is going to give you enough buzz to get through your training session. We have Aurea durensis, which is a strong plant extract, guys, effectively. It gives you a almost DMHA high, euphoria, mood elevation, more focus. Some people love that one, and we do it too. We like that. We do enjoy it. We have L-theanine at 150 milligrams. Some people hate this one. That's the truth. It's a love it or hate it ingredient, guys. Personally, I don't mind it at all. It helps me with focus and concentration, a little bit of anti-stress, anti-anxiety, but it also helps suppress the stimulants. Some of these stimulants can give you jitters, crashes, all the rest of it. That kind of prevents that. It kind of keeps a blanket on it, and it keeps it stretching into the distance to help you with the crash at the end. You hopefully won't get any crash. Theobromine, which is the ingredient in chocolate that dogs cannot digest. It's been shown to help with a multitude of things. Energy being the main one, but also mood elevation, focus, fat burning effects. So there's quite a lot of benefits that can come from that ingredient. It's a nice addition to this pre-workout. And we've wrapped the label off, guys. Huperzine A yielding 1% at 15 micrograms, guys. It's dubbed the learning chemical. It's used for Alzheimer's patients in the medicine form, and it's been shown to have that cognitive ability benefits. So it's going to get you, again, more in the zone. Now, this pre-workout is very good. It's dosed well in all areas, especially at the 3-gram serving size. It's definitely going down more the pumps and the mood elevation focus route rather than the stimulant route, but we're excited. Can it be one that can be used on a daily basis? Let's get into the effects, the most important part. So let's get into the effects of this pre-workout, guys. And I'll start off by saying it's a really nice experience, and I genuinely mean that. I'm going to break it down into all its different segments. I'm going to compare it against the version 1 pre-workout from Greg Doucette himself. Is it better? Is it worse? Was the changes even needed? Because the first one, if you haven't already watched our review, do check it out. It did actually get a 10 out of 10. It was a fantastic daily driver. It delivered in all the elements we look for, the energy, the pumps, and the focus. And it was just a feel-good pre-workout, guys, as a daily driver. That is very important to mention. With the V1, this felt like something you could use each and every time you train. It's not too strong. I wouldn't even class it as a strong pre-workout. I'd class it as an energy drink with pumps and focus added in, something productive, something feel good, something nice, something relatively healthy for your everyday needs. Now, I'm going to be comparing the version 2. The focus on this stuff is the standout point for me. It was very, very good. You feel good on it. It gives you mood elevation 100%, but you do feel absolutely dialed in, and the endurance with that focus is very, very good. Even more apparent than version 1. Training any body part on it, it will last through your session. Now, bearing in mind, guys, I am talking about 3 scoops here. I'm talking about the maximum serving. The reason I do that is because it stays consistent with every other pre-workout out there. And also, I do believe a large percentage of you out there will be just going for the maximum serving. Let's be realistic here. 2 scoops, 1 scoops, the dosages are good. Don't get me wrong there, but they're not amazing. At Free Scoops, they are amazing. They are hitting clinical and beyond for the majority of their ingredients here. Now, what I will say is we blind test this stuff. When I used this pre-workout for the first time, I barely looked at this label. I just put the powder in a shaker, shake it up, get down the gym, and I crack on. And I find out that way, with all the pre-workouts, you will actually really get the best results. If you go into it with a concept in your mind, having looked at the label, sometimes that can lead to a disappointing or a pleasing experience because it's set in the mind already. So it's very important to sort of blind test this stuff. Now, as I mentioned, focus for me on this, really good. Like, really, really good. Very dialed in. Exercise to exercise to exercise. Endurance was up there. You know, I trained a nasty leg day for today, for example. I've used it several times and it's been consistent each and every time. I've trained hard. I've trained really, really, really hard and not really got worn out as such. Towards the end of the gym session, on just a generic average pre-workout or without pre-workout, I would genuinely be tapering off in terms of strength, in terms of energy, in terms of endurance. And this one, I had to physically drag myself away from training. I knew I'd crushed legs. I didn't need to do any more, but I could have done more. It was one of them. And that is bearing in mind 50 milligrams less caffeine than the version 1. But this felt more energized than the version 1. I would actually personally call this a strong daily driver. I still wouldn't put it into a stim junkie category, even though you do have 300 milligrams of caffeine, you do have the urea genesis in there, but it's still, for me, daily driver, but a strong one. Whereas the first version was, in energy form, a potentially weak to mid daily driver level. You know, it was doable. It was really good. I'm not too sure why they did change the formula, but I do prefer this one. I really do. So it's actually hard to compare it because version 1 got a 10. It was very good. This is just a slightly stronger 10 out of 10. So it is dependent on what you're looking for. Now, starting at the beginning, which I seem to have skipped altogether, beta-alanine, that comes in nice. And, you know, that is to be very expected. Despite the lack of a digestive agent such as estrogen, bioperine, black pepper, you know, the sort of things that get the ingredient into the system quite quickly, they genuinely hype up the beta-alanine feels, give it that extra sense of tingle. But at 4.5 grams, it's going to do the job, and it did so. You do feel the paresthesia, itchy type feel pretty damn strong, like a 9 out of 10 on the itchy, tingly scale compared to everything else. So that is good. That, for us, love it. Sense of urgency, sense of kicking in, sense to go kill shit. You know, it really does do the job in that regard. Now that wears off and then you get into the training. Like I say, that focus for me, that is the personal standout. Now, what we've often said, and this, we still stand true to this, and we think one day some more scientific evidence will come out around this. Arnie was famous for saying it, mind to muscle connection. With focus ingredients comes better pumps than pump ingredients. I let that sink in because it's going to sound silly. But if you are in the mind, you are in the muscle, the contractions, the focus, the force behind every push is just there. It gets you pumped. Really good. And then the additional pump ingredients in this at humongous dosages amplify that. So the pumps are a 10. They're nasty. And in fact, in actual truth, on something such as a leg day where you don't want ridiculous pumps because they can become a hindrance, 3 scoops is almost too much. But it's all good fun, isn't it? It's all in the name of the games. Now, the energy, comparing it to everything on the market, it probably still is around the 8 out of 10 mark. It's not stim junkie, but it's more than enough. As I mentioned, had to drag myself away from the gym. It kept going. I'm still going now. And you feel that energy over a several hour period. It does taper off nicely. There's no crash. The L-theanine wasn't any hindrance to us here. It didn't dampen the mood. It didn't take away from the energy or the stimulation or the drive to get your training done. It was nice. It really is a feel-good daily driver on the stronger end of the caliber of pre-workout by today's standards for the daily driver element, but it's fantastic, and it's just for me it's just a more hard-hitting version of version 1. So it gets a 10. It does have to get a 10 out of 10. There's no negatives. There's no crash. There's no appetite suppression. After training, you're more than happy to get a whole meal in, and you can put the bulk on. You can get huge for this summer. In terms of nausea, sickness, none of that. In terms of cold sweats, illness feeling, none of that. It's just a really good pre-workout. Now, it's one of those pre-workouts, similar to our own one. It's one of those that I would genuinely be happy if you said to me, pre-workouts are getting wiped off the face of the earth. The only one you're ever going to have again is this one. It would be one of my very first choices for that, because of the several reasons. Don't get me wrong, Stim Junkie pre-workouts, hardcore hitting ones, they're all fun and games. They are better solo experiences, but you just can't use them every day. You can't. This one I feel like you could. Now, there are some people out there that say the ureagenesis is down the Stim Junkie-esque route, and it is towards that a little bit more than caffeine, but for us, it's always still been a mild stimulant. It's not DMHA. It should never be confused with DMHA. The literature says it's like that in terms of its effects, its euphoria, its drive, its stimulation, but it's quite mild. I'd actually compare it to caffeine with a little bit of mood elevation on the side. So therefore, I don't think it tips it into the unhealthy realm. I really don't. So therefore, I personally would be happy using this every day. And if you had any concerns of that, I'd just step it down to the 2-scoop dosage. And I still think that would do the job, guys. I really do. So even more so for the smaller body parts, it's the big, bulky, back, hardcore leg days that you want 3 scoops. Anything else, 2 would suffice. So, Greg Doucette, harder than last time. This pre-workout version 2 gets a 10 out of 10. And for me, comparing it to version 1, it's a better version. So, you know, going back in hindsight, I'd have to give the first one like a 9.5 and this a 10, or that a 10, this a 10.5, but that doesn't really work. It's just a bit better in every element we look for. Energy, focus, pumps. The focus for me was truly the standout though. That is good. I feel like I could go back to the gym now, train a chest session. I really do. And I've just killed legs. So yeah, it's a good one. Appreciate you sending it down. This is an 100% honest review. You know, let us know if you've tried it. We always say to you guys watching at home, if you've tried these pre-workouts, drop your honest experiences down below. We want to turn our YouTube channel into almost a forum for you guys to come and drop real thoughts and feelings in. So then that way, no one can accuse us of lying in these reviews, because we will leave the perhaps negative reviews down below. And that can happen to some people. But this one for us, fantastic job. Really enjoyed it. I can't say anything wrong with it at all. So, yeah. And it's appreciating you guys watching at home. Please do like the video. Please subscribe. We're putting out at least 3 honest reviews per week. And we've got at least 6 months worth if we don't receive another delivery from today. So, a lot more coming. Appreciate you watching. As always, stay stimmed. Greg Doucette style.